Education Project, Partnership for Growth, UTLA, LA Care Health Plan, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and the Liberty Hill Foundation.
1, 2, get down. Paid the cost to be the boss. Paid the cost to be the boss. I paid the cost to be the boss. Look at me. You know what to see. See a bad mother. Look at me. You know what to see. See a bad mother. Paid the cost to be the boss. Paid the cost to be the boss. Look at me. Know what to see? See a bad mother.
That's the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. I'm Tavis Smiley. And in this hour of our program, as promised, a conversation with the perennial best-selling author, Walter Mosley, whose latest novel is Gray Dawn, an easy Rawlins mystery. Walter is also in the writer's room on the new FX series, The Lowdown, in which Killer Mike appears and stars. And so Michael Render, a.k.a. Killer Mike, will join us a little bit later in this conversation. We'll commence our dialogue with Walter Mosley in a moment after I give you the trailer for The Lowdown.
Citizens arrest! Ha! Ha ha ha!
That's when the trouble really got started.
This is Lee Raybon.
Lee Raybon.
He'll write for any publications that'll humor his conspiracies.
You read my paper? It's booty and bad guys.
He's rough around the edges.
Dad, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. You want to drive?
Now and again, he gets in over his head.
Pain is only temporary.
Let me out!
Until it ain't.
That looks good. Yeah.
Going down, down, down.
If you're reading this, I'm probably dead.
Going down, down, down.
Behind every great fortune is a great crime.
The dead guy's family. It's part of the Oklahoma Illuminati.
Illuminati? You're naughty.
What I've uncovered is insane. Hidden tunnels, some freaky stuff, stolen art.
You're sniffing at the wrong hole. Oh, I'm sniffing at the right hole, and it stinks.
What brought you to Senora today? Man's trying to kill me. This is all a game to you.
My family was threatened. It's not a game. This town
Is about to explode.
Stash is sweet. Dude, there's blood on the... Is this blood money?
Walter Mosley, we get a chance to do it one more again, man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Tavis?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. You know me. And I think Mike is on as well. Killer Mike, how are you, sir?
Well, hey, Tavis. Hey, Walter. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's good to have you on. Yeah, it's good to have you both on. Good to have you both on. Let me start with you first, Walter. Tell me about The Lowdown. I want to get to, we played the trailer, of course. We heard Mike's voice all throughout the trailer. We'll get to Mike in a second here, Killer Mike. But Walter, tell me about The Lowdown for starters.
Well, it's Sterling Harjo's new show. His last show was Reservation Dogs, which was such a big success. He has a really original voice that in television that most people don't they aren't able to get through what they're trying to say. It's almost like if you were doing this show, Tavis, you'd be saying, well, okay, now this is the truth. Right. If the first thing you would say to to most people is if they said to you, I'm doing the truth, you'd say, okay, well, come back with something, a little bit more entertaining. Will you? and that's what it is. So it was really great fun working on that first season.
Yeah. Okay, Killer Mike. First of all, man, it's been a while since I talked to you. You been good, man?
I am. I'm blessed, man. Highly favored. Happy to be back on with you.
Man, it's good to hear your voice again. Tell me about this project, The Lowdown, how you got in it.
Man, well, Ethan Hawke I met when I did Bill Maher's show a few years ago. Ethan and I remained friendly and grew a friendship. He had me come in for a bit part, which I appreciated on Good Lord Bird. And I enjoyed the act of acting. And I was curious and kept talking and asking him about it. And apparently Sterling was a fan of mine and liked what I did on the microphone and off in the community. And he and Ethan had talked about it, and he agreed that I would make a good character in Cyrus. They called and had me read and talk to me and ask me some questions, and next thing you know, I was flying to Tulsa.
Yep. Tell me about Cyrus, Killer Mike.
Cyrus is my depiction of Cyrus is it takes all kind of black people in Atlanta. So I've known all types of black people. I've known one family in particular. The father was a numbers man and a bootlegger. And he contributed as much to civil rights marches and those buses to get people to Birmingham as anybody else. And his son has grown to be a close friend of mine. His son went to high school with my mother. And his son just reminds me a lot of Cyrus. He's a guy who, even though what he does appears to be seedy in terms of owning the magazine, his son owns one of my favorite strip clubs in Atlanta. And the brother's just a good brother. He helps kids. He helps families, and he's always been good. And Cyrus reminded me of that. Cyrus sells a magazine that shows boobs and tells the truth. And I drew a lot from my friend and the way he was honorable with my community. And I grew up in the Collier Heights, the same community that Martin King's family is in, the same Billy and Cynthia McKinney. So it takes all types of black folks. And Cyrus reminds me of those black folks that might have been street-oriented, but they cared about their community in a greater way.
Killer Mike is, to be sure, an individual, and he didn't have to always be a part of the collective, but I am fascinated by what it is that drawing all of these rappers into the acting genre. I want to get his particular take. If you ask that question of any rapper who's acting, you probably get a different response, but I'm talking to Killer Mike. So I'm going to ask him what it is to his mind about this acting thing that's pulling in so many rappers, rather, number one. And to Walter, I'm curious, Walter is his own guy, right? He's written all these books. The latest in the Easy Rawlins series is out. It's called Grey Dawn, as I mentioned earlier. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this hour. But what's it like for a guy who does his own thing to be in a writer's room where you ain't calling all the shots like he does writing his books? Walter Mosley, Killer Mike on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580, standing with you in perilous times. If you've been impacted by the federal government shutdown or the discontinuation of SNAP benefits, you can find a food bank near you that's offering free groceries by going to lafoodbank.org or call 211. Additionally, LA County offers free meals at certain parks. There are meals and snacks for kids and seniors. Visit parks.lacounty.gov to find out which centers are offering which programs and to register in advance. And in addition to offering 2 free meals per day for all students, the LA Unified School District provides weekend meal kits for its students by request. The meal kits can be picked up on Fridays at grab-and-go locations. Please visit lausd.org/Cafe LA. That's lausd.org/CAFELA. We keep us safe. We keep us provided for. We keep us connected. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
On Thursday evening, November 6th, you're invited to the next KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Town Hall meeting. This time we're convening at Victory Bible Church, 1497 North Hill Avenue in Pasadena. The town hall will once again be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580 from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 6th. But you're invited to join us in person for this urgent and necessary community conversation. The theme for this Altadena Eaton Canyon Fire Town Hall is Understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The primary focus of this gathering is to inform residents about Southern California Edison's newly launched Wildfire Recovery Compensation Program and provide clarity on eligibility and the claims process. There are plenty of questions to be asked, and only KBLA Talk 1580 has the right moderators to ask the tough questions, the right stakeholders and community activists to share their insights, and we have confirmed the participation of corporate executives from Southern California Edison to answer our queries. So be sure to join us at Victory Bible Church in Pasadena, 1497 North Hill Avenue on Thursday, November 6th. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required at kbla1580.com. That's kbla1580.com. Light refreshments will be served immediately following the live town hall. This KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Rising Town Hall is brought to you by the Black Freedom Fund.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with the perennial best-selling writer Walter Mosley and Killer Mike. Killer Mike stars in this new FX series called The Lowdown. Walter Mosley has been in the writer's room for The Lowdown. Walter has a new book out, the latest in the Easy series called Gray Dawn and Easy Rawlins Mystery. So I got a lot to cover in this hour with the two of them. I've got Killer Mike to the bottom of the hour, and then Walter and I will take it on home to the top of the hour. But let me just make the most of the time I have with both of them at the moment. So I said a minute ago, Mike, that I'm fascinated by the way in which so many rappers, and there's nothing that suggests you got to be a one-trick pony, that you don't have talent in a variety of ways, but there's something about this acting thing that's pulling in all these rappers. And again, I don't ask you to speak for them. You can speak for yourself. What's that about, though?
Well, there's a long history of rappers aligning with cinema. When you talk about some of my heroes like Ice-T, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J, Lord Jamar, there have been lots of people that extend the art of storytelling. To be a rapper is to be a writer first.
Right.
You're usually a kid that loves writing. You use your imagination. Rappers have told some of the best movies that I've ever heard. When you talk about Scarface, Brad Jordan, whose birthday's coming up soon, he writes scripts when he writes a song. He takes you at the beginning. You meet a hero. You get to an arc. You get an ending. So for me, acting is an extension of rapping. It gives me an opportunity, even if I'm telling other people's stories through their writing, what I get a chance is to tell a grand truth by living this lie as an actor. I get to lie and be this character, but I tell a bigger truth, which is what I like about Cyrus, and it's what I admire about Walter Mosley and his writing. Man, to get an opportunity to play a character that he's had some influence on is such a tremendous honor. It's amazing to me. So I think you'll see more rappers getting into acting because it's simply an extension of storytelling.
Yeah, as long as actors don't start trying to rap.
No, they tried that. It usually sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to Childish Gambino, though. He pulled it off. Donald Glover got it. Yeah, but most actors trying to rap, it don't go as well.
No, it works one way. It don't work the other way. So I hear your point. While you're here, let me just ask you this. We were literally talking about this here in the building, in the studio, and who better to ask this question of than Killer Mike? So there's a story that dropped yesterday in Billboard magazine. And let me just read the headline and just give you the subtitle, and Mike can take it from there. So the headline in this Billboard story is, "No rap songs are in the Billboard Hot 100's top 40 for the first time since 1990. No rap songs are in the Billboard Hot 100's top 40 for the first time since 1990, as one long-running hip-hop smash goes recurrent on the chart. The Hot 100's top 40 does not boast a single rap song, ending a streak that's lasted for over 35 years. Given how hegemonic hip-hop music is, Mike, how is this possible?"
Tavis, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you.
I lost you a little bit. I will say this.
Yeah.
NBA YoungBoy is at number 44, and he's a sensation. He just sold out State Farm Arena and is doing the arena tour. So I'm not worried about rap going anywhere.
Right.
I think that rap is just hitting a reset button. I think all of America is. If pop music is having this time and this shine, that's fine. What I know for sure is there are a bunch of black kids somewhere in this community, in all these urban areas, that's writing a new style of rap that's going to take the world by storm. That's what I do know. And I know that there's nothing wrong with going underground for a year or two and resetting who you are. At some point, rap has become so easy, anybody thought they could do it.
Yeah.
So what I look forward to is in like a phoenix will burn itself up and emerge a new bird. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be led out of a place like Atlanta. Atlanta is famous for, as a rap city, burning itself down and coming out with a new style every 2-3 years. I'm getting back in the studio next week, starting to work on my new thing. So I want to chart. I know all these other rappers wanted to. So I wouldn't worry much. I would just support what I love if I love rap music.
Yep. What do you, let me ask you another way. What do you hope will come of the music on the other side of this streak that's now ended? What do you hope comes out of the music?
I hope rap gets loud, proud, black, and dangerous again.
Loud,
to be
proud,
very honest with you.
Loud, proud, black, and dangerous again.
Yeah, it's my music. My album of 13 years ago was called RAP, rap music, rebellious African people's music. So rebellious African comedy and people's music. Rap should be the voice of the common person, the blue collar American, and that's anywhere, any color, any ethnic group. What it shouldn't be is simply an extension of pop music. I think pop music got an opportunity to take back over because in part rap got a little too poppy. And I think that what is happening is you're seeing a resetting. I think the emergence of what Kendrick did and kids kind of caring about lyricism in the way that they did in the golden era again matters.
Yeah.
I think you got a bunch of dope young artists like J.I.D. who come out of Atlanta, Kenny Mason who's coming out of Atlanta, other artists that are more lyrically based. I think that you're going to have a resurgence and you're going to have some nostalgia. Like my 18-year-old daughter is listening to Tribe Called Quest. She's listening to Jungle Brothers. She's listening to music that normally 18-year-olds don't listen to.
Yeah.
So I think that like rock and roll, we're hitting a reset and you're about to see a new style emerge.
If it lost all of those qualities that you just laid out so beautifully, what happened? Why did those qualities dissipate in the music?
Well, I can't say the quality disappeared because there's always MCs doing it.
Right.
I think that what our radio supports, I think that we lost black radio. Like, let's be frank. We've lost a lot of black radio. We don't have BET in the same way we had BET. We don't have the same taste-making places that we used to have as black people. And that is a little scary to me. We need black news media. I need Tavis Smiley to be beyond national. I need Tavis Smiley to be international because that's who I trust. I need the music of rappers to be something that comes out of black neighborhoods, not just injected into black neighborhoods. So I think that our loss of those sensibilities is part of our loss of our own media. So I think that the speaking to rap, we have to speak to the bigger thing of we need our own rap, we need our own radio, we need our own news, we need our own video, or now it's on your phone, videos on your phone. I think we need all of that, and we need to be the owners of, not just the influencers of.
Yep. Walter, let me put you back in this conversation. Mike makes a powerful point I want you to pick up on. This notion of black excellence and how we advance that in a moment such as this. I ain't got to color it much more than that. Pick that baton up, Walter, and run with it.
Well, the problem with America, which nobody's ever supposed to say, is its, unflagging commitment to capitalism. That capitalism defines what you should be thinking, what you do all day long, what you do every night. Everything is about, making money. And certainly, hip hop and rap music, it's like, it starts out, as a rebellion. It starts out as saying, I'm going to tell you the truth about what I feel, about what you feel, about what's happening, and that would be it. Now, it's absolutely a fact that if somebody can buy you out on that, they will. If they can't, they'll put you out there because they can make money. But if they can get somebody else to do something that's going to make them money, we're going to be pushed to the side, which is why, as Killer Mike says, we need our own institutions. Without the institution, you are never in charge of what you do, what you own.
Yep. But institution building, Walter, as you know, is so much harder than individual success. If there's anything that we can lay claim to, is that there's a litany of people, long list of folk who we could name who've had individual success. Killer Mike's had it, you've had it, I've had it. Others have had individual success. It is that institutional success, that institution building, Walter, that becomes so difficult. And in a moment like this, where they're pushing back against trying to wipe out black culture, that becomes even more difficult to do, to build black institutions, Walter.
No, it's absolutely true. And one of the problems is that you have the artists, but the artist's job is to make the art. So you need somebody else to actually work really hard at developing the institution. And everybody who's developing things like institutions are also worried about profit.
Yeah.
And so you have to bring into that a self-criticism about what's right and what's wrong, what you're gonna invest your time in. Those people listening to your show or watching something that that I've worked on, or listening to something Killer Mike does, we have to be able to say, we don't want anything going on that's going to be deleterious to our life and our politics.
Killer Mike, what's your read on the real-time threat to black institutions and black culture?
My real-time read is, if we don't start fortifying the ones we have and supporting and building new ones, like Isaac Hayes' son has fan base, which is a comparable way for black people and all people to get on and talk, like a Twitter or Facebook. If we don't start to support our own, we lost one in Combos, which is one that Chameleonaire was developing. If we don't do it, we lose it. It's just that simple. We have to be in the game of not only creating the art, but controlling the means and how the art is distributed and funded. I look to people, the answers are going to come from people like Tyler Perry, people like Walter Mosley in the writing room, rappers like Killer Mike, who are willing to be independent, like in my group Run the Jewels, or partner with Loma Vista, a company that gets me. If we don't push for power beyond the paycheck, then we never get it. But if we're aiming for power and the paycheck, because you deserve to get paid for your art, then I think we'll do it. We have to return to the days of glory of Ebony and Jet. We have to get back to that type of, I understand that I'm a part of the bigger America and the bigger world, so I'm always read the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Wall Street Journal, but I got to read my Ebony. I got to read my Jet. I got to read something that's for me, by me, and the greater world can consume it too, but I have to do it from a place where my story is truthful and to be told.
To your point, Killer Mike, I think about this all the time. You mentioned a number of institutions that obviously we all know, and I have had the honor in my lifetime of knowing the persons who founded many of those institutions and those publications, et cetera, these platforms, these media platforms. And yet one of the things I always wrestle with is, and it's such an individual question, but so many black people, Killer Mike, have built these institutions, and then when they get to a certain size, they sell it. There you go. They platform to a certain level. They sell it to somebody who doesn't look like us.
Well, God bless, man. I want to tell you, my Korean friend told me his parents used to own a majority in Atlanta and throughout Georgia, the Korean hair stores that would be in the mall. And then they sold it and they became the distributors to the stores they sold to. Every business is built to be sold.
Yeah.
You start with a dream and a small loan of some sort. Like I was watching a Bob Johnson interview. Bob started with a $500,000 loan from a white guy who sat on the cable board that he was working with in conjunction to. Got the $500,000 and then asked the white guy, well, how do you run a business? But I don't really know how to do that. Him and that white guy built a relationship over the next 30, 35 years that allowed BET to become worth $4.3 billion. And the guy came to Bob like, hey, I want to finally cash out. He cashed out to the tune of about $800 million. Every business is built to be sold. That's what you want to do. I mean, it's not like every business can be Chick-fil-A in the same family, only the Walton family. So most businesses are going to be sold. I think African Americans should focus on less about what we've lost and more on what we can gain. The question isn't for me, why did BET fail? The question becomes, why don't we have 3 BETs? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if Bob Johnson can do it, it's a few other brothers who last name Johnson could do it. And what we've lost in BET, we haven't won. What's Kathy Hughes? It's one.
Radio One, Urban One,
radio,
TV One, all those ones.
Urban, TV One is the one I'm talking about. Radio One, she still is dominant. But we should be supporting TV One. I was already a TV One watcher, but I'm going to be very honest with you. I miss The Cosby Show. It's the only place in the world you can watch The Cosby Show. Because I can separate art from the person. I don't have to get in arguments of how people feel about Bill Cosby. That show was instrumental in the middle of the crack era to provide some type of wholesomeness, some type of hope, some type of sensibility of this is what middle classdom is about. So I still watch The Cosby Show with my nieces and nephews and tell them, hey, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, this is what you can do. I still use the show as a means to show kids in my family there's an optimal world that doesn't involve ghettoism, fighting, violence, and things of that nature. And TV One provides me that. So my question to black people is, instead of complaining what we lost, let's all get behind TV One.
Yep, that white guy that...
and let's create a TV 2 and a TV 3, too.
There you go. The white guy he's talking about, his name is John Malone. I know him well. John Malone is the white guy that killed Michael Jackson. So, Mike, I got 60 seconds left. Walter and I are going to take it to the top of the hour. But I got 60 seconds left. Let me circle back to the Lowdown. Just say a quick word about why people ought to tune in to see it on FX.
The Lowdown has a lot less N-words, but it is as exciting and as wild as a Quentin Tarantino flick. What Walter Mosley and the other folks are doing in that writer's room is simply amazing. Every week watching the show is like watching a movie. And before I go, Mr. Mosley, I'll buy it myself, but I have to get an autograph of you from one of your books. Thank you for being the writer you are and inspiring my pen as well, sir.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful to meet you.
There you have it, Killer Mike. I never tire of talking to him publicly or privately. I always learn, as I say all the time. He challenges me to re-examine my assumptions, expand my inventory of ideas. Always love it being in dialogue with Killer Mike. Love you, Mike. Talk to you soon, man.
Love and respect. Y'all have a great day, gentlemen.
All right. When we come forward, the rest of this conversation with Walter Mosley, that question I asked earlier that we didn't quite get to, Walter does his own thing, obviously, has done it obviously quite well. Perennial New York Times bestselling author. But in the writer's room, that's a little bit different than writing your own stuff. We'll talk about that, a little bit more about the Lowdown, and then we're going to get into this latest novel in the Easy Rawlins Mystery series. It's called Great On. You're listening to Walter Mosley on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Florida is stepping up after Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica. Orlando attorney Dan Newlin is flying 3 planes of supplies to Kingston with reggae star Shaggy, who joins in Miami.
If the people are saying, Dan, can you bring more? Can you get more stuff? Then we will fly up, load up, and continue to make flights down.
Newlin says he'll also bring home stranded American tourists. AI-generated videos mocking black women have gone viral on TikTok, sparking outrage. The clips, made with OpenAI's Sora tool, show women yelling about EBT cards in exaggerated scenarios, reinforcing harmful stereotypes. Critics call the trend racist and dangerous. And Drake plans to appeal after a judge dismissed his lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's hit Not Like Us. Drake sued Universal Music Group, claiming the song sparked memes and jokes at his expense. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dodgers are in trouble. They lost to Toronto last night 6-1 and are now just 1 game away from missing out on winning back-to-back World Series titles. The Blue Jays take a 3-2 lead back home to Toronto for what could be a decisive Game 6 on Friday night. The Dodgers offense is breaking down at the wrong time. They've scored only 3 runs in the last 2 games and struck out 15 times last night. 12 of those strikeouts belong to Trey Yesevich. a 22-year-old rookie. Yesevich limited the Dodgers to 3 hits and 1 run. Only one Dodger batter went to the plate last night with a runner in scoring position. The Dodgers need to resuscitate their offense in a hurry. Austin Reeves continues to carry the Lakers with LeBron and Luka Doncic out with injuries. Reeves hit a short jumper in the lane at the buzzer last night in Minnesota to lift the Lakers to a 116-115 win. Reeves ended up with 28 points and 16 assists. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Megan Good, Michael Hyatt, Golden Brooks, Ty Burrell, Christine Devine. They're all coming together on Saturday, November 1st at Paramount Picture Studios for the Kids Film Awards, a red carpet celebration of young filmmakers from right here in Los Angeles. Presented by Kids in the Spotlight. The Kids Film Awards showcase original short films written, cast, and performed by local youth. Powerful stories across every genre, from drama and comedy to action and suspense. It's a night that blends Hollywood energy with real community spirit, highlighting the future voices of film. These are the next generation of storytellers stepping onto one of Hollywood's biggest stages. Come out and experience a night filled with film, music, and inspiration, where creativity, community, and purpose meet. Tickets are available now at kitsinc.org. That's KITSINC.org. The 2025 Kids Film Awards, Saturday, November 1st at Paramount Picture Studios. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Walter Mosley. In case you've just tuned in, we were joined at the top of the hour by Killer Mike and Walter Mosley. What a blessing that was to have both of them in conversation. We had them both on together because there's a new FX series called The Lowdown, which stars one Killer Mike, playing a character named Cyrus. And Walter Mosley has been in the writer's room on that FX series. We were delighted to get both of them together for the first 30 minutes of this conversation. Now I'm taking it to the top with Walter Mosley talking about a bit more about The Lowdown just for a second here, but then I want to work my way into his latest in the Easy Rawlins series. It's called Gray Dawn and Easy Rawlins Mystery. So one final question or two about The Lowdown. Walter, you heard me say earlier that I can only imagine that being in the writer's room, as much as you seem to enjoy it, is a little bit different than doing your own thing where you have total control.
Well, no, it absolutely is. But I mean, you can't just do the same one thing your whole life. You do different things.
Yeah.
In a room, and especially in a room like this, because this was Sterling Harjo's room, and Sterling, he's the creative force behind the show. He's telling you what he needs, and you're trying to, give him that. And he's, saying, "Oh, no, that's not good enough. Oh, yeah, that's good. I like that." And I guess if I didn't have writing, being in a writer's room would really, I would hate it, I think. But because I do have my novels and my own film work, I just had a movie come out, the Man in My Basement,
sure,
which is on Hulu now. I have my own things that I'm doing, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I will talk about the Man in My Basement in a second here. Tell me though, what it is about being in the writers' room, given that you are a star all by yourself. You are you can do solo. You can do solo pretty well. So when you're part of a crew, writing for a show, what is it about that experience? To your point, you don't want to do the same thing all the time, but what is it about that part that you do like, that experience?
Well, I like collaboration.
Right.
I like figuring out things with other people. And also I like learning. I like being challenged. And, there's all kinds of different people in the room.
Mhm.
Sometimes they rub you the wrong way. Sometimes, you get together with these two against those three, and, just, not real struggling, but trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. And I love that. I think it's fun. It's just that if I had to do it all the time, I would be, less interested. I think.
Since you went there, I was going to go there anyway, but I'll follow you. Tell me about the Man in My Basement on Hulu.
Oh yeah, well, I did the movie.
Yep.
I wrote the script, and then we brought in directors. She wrote on the script too, and it's really fun. I mean, it was really great to do, and it's like the #1 film on Hulu, which is wild. And it was a really great experience. I think it was a great experience.
The storyline is what?
Oh, the storyline is that, one time, a long time ago, a guy asked me at a reading, he said, "What do you think that every black man in America needs?" And I said, "A white man locked up in their basement." So when they need to figure out what's going on, they can go downstairs and, sit down next to the cage he's in and say, "Well, listen, man, how come I didn't get that promotion? I did the best work," And he come back and said, "Well, do you play golf?" I said, "Man, what's that got to do with it?" That kind of thing. I thought it was going to be a comedy.
Mhm.
And then I started writing the novel. And, it was really serious. It's a kind of a slacker young man a black man living out in Sag Harbor, where, one of the oldest black communities in America.
Sure.
And he puts this guy in his basement. The guy rents his basement and says, "I want to be locked up there." But this guy is so evil and he's so on point that the conflict that grows between them reveals, a lot of the truths of American reality and really global reality.
Yeah. That's The Man in My Basement, streaming right now on Hulu. We talked earlier about the new FX series called The Lowdown. Walter Mosley is a busy guy. As he said, he ain't limiting himself to just one lane. He's doing it all and doing it rather well. But the lane that we love him in, I think, the most is the Easy Rawlins lane. And so the latest in the Easy series is called Grey Dawn and Easy Rawlins Mystery. So I looked this up last night just to make sure that I guessed it, and I was only a year or two off in my guessing, but I didn't want to guess on the air, so I went to look it up last night. Walter, you've been writing about Easy Rawlins since 1988.
Yeah,
that's a long time to be wrestling with one character.
Well, I mean, it's not the only thing I did over the last 37 years, but it's one of them.
Yeah.
I like writing about Easy. And not just Easy, about all of his friends, Jackson Blue and John the bartender, and definitely Mouse and Mouse's Viet Cong girlfriend. I mean, it's so much fun for me to get there because in a great way, it's the place I come from.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Los Angeles, all those Texans who came up here, and some of them from Louisiana. And how they made an incredible impact on life in America.
Yeah.
And those stories have not been told. on the whole, they're just not told, and I just have a great time, having Easy, try to deal with this world, and try to find some satisfaction there.
We'll talk about Grey Dawn in a second, but take me back, since we're on this, take me back to 1988 and tell me what was in your head then. What did you imagine Easy to be when you first introduced him to us back in the 80s?
Well, I didn't get published till 90.
Right.
And I was, I wrote Gone Fishing back then,
right.
A coming of age novel, but it's Easy and Mouse, in a place called Pariah, Texas, a made up town in between Louisiana and Texas. And I just, to be able to write the voices of the people who, who adults around me when I was a kid, growing up, listening to their stories, watching their lives, loving them, just caring so deeply about, where I came from, and to be able to write about it, I still have the same feeling today. I had no understanding of, I didn't think anybody was ever going to publish my books. I didn't think that anybody was ever going to read them. I never thought I was going to be with Tavis Smiley on this show. I mean, I didn't think that. What I thought was, I love writing these things, and I loved telling these stories. And if I get to show it to a few people, that'd be wonderful.
Well, you've done a lot more than that, thank God, and we're all the better for it. Some characters, as you know, you're the writer. I'm not, at least not. I do nonfiction. You do the fiction thing, and you do nonfiction. I've interviewed Walter enough to have covered the whole gamut of all the stuff he does. So he's not just a nonfiction writer. But some characters have an expiration date. Some do not. Does Easy?
When you say expiration date, what do you mean exactly?
Will you ever run out of Easy Rawlins stories?
Oh, I never run out of stories. Period. It's like stories are just you're just telling them. I really do believe for anybody who's interested in writing, if you do writing, any other art, if you do it every day, the next day there's going to be something else to say.
Yeah.
And the next day there's going to be something else to say. And as long as you keep doing that, you'll have those stories, those pieces of art in your mind.
All these years in, Walter, do you still write every day?
Every day, 3 hours every morning.
Man, so tell me about the discipline. You say that, I'm thinking now about Sonny Rollins. I was honored to have Sonny Rollins on this program, The Colossus, on this program, I guess a couple months ago, on his 95th birthday. On the eve of his 95th birthday, we had Sonny Rollins on this program. What a great honor for me to have one more conversation with Sonny Rollins, as I'm blessed to have one more conversation with Walter Mosley. Walter ain't quite 95 yet, but we all know that the Colossus was on the bridge in New York. You know his history. He's on the bridge in New York practicing every day. And Sonny, no matter where he was in the world, he had a show that night. He's still practicing by day. He's doing his shows by night. It's part of the lore of what made him the Colossus that he became. Talk to me about the discipline. I'm watching my clock here. Let me just do this. Let me get the question out. We'll let Walter respond when we come forward. The question is obvious. How do you discipline yourself to write for 3 hours every single morning? Obviously, if you can do that, there's a chance that you may become Walter Mosley, but there's a discipline in that, and I want to talk about that part with Walter Mosley. The latest in the Easy series is called Grey Dawn, and Easy Rawlins Mystery. You're listening to Walter Mosley on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
On Thursday evening, November 6th, you're invited to the next KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Town Hall meeting. This time, we're convening at Victory Bible Church, 1497 North Hill Avenue in Pasadena. The town hall will once again be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580 from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 6th. But you're invited to join us in person for this urgent and necessary community conversation. The theme for this Altadena Eaton Canyon Fire Town Hall is understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The primary focus of this gathering is to inform residents about Southern California Edison Edison's newly launched Wildfire Recovery Compensation Program and provide clarity on eligibility and the claims process. There are plenty of questions to be asked, and only KBLA Talk 1580 has the right moderators to ask the tough questions, the right stakeholders and community activists to share their insights, and we have confirmed the participation of corporate executives from Southern California Edison to answer our queries. So be sure to join us at Victory Bible Church in Pasadena, 1497 North Hill Avenue on Thursday, November 6th. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required at kbla1580.com. That's kbla1580.com. Light refreshments will be served immediately following the live town hall. This KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Rising Town Hall is brought to you by the Black Freedom Fund.
California, this is your moment. The special election is November 4th, and your vote helps decide your future, your community, and your state. Drop your ballot at a secure drop box. Visit an early vote center or mail it. Your participation powers democracy. Every ballot makes a difference. Tell a friend to do the same. Sign up at where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov to track your ballot. Make your voice count. Don't delay. Vote today. A message from the California Secretary of State.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You're indeed with Walter Mosley, best-selling author of a number of books, but we all love him, of course, for the Easy series. The latest one is called Gray Dawn, an Easy Rawlins Mystery. So I was thinking, Walter, during that break, when I was doing the PBS show for, 15 seasons, and Walter was a guest on that program a number of times, as he's been on all of my entire career. I've had the honor of interviewing Walter Mosley, BET, CNN, ABC, PBS, radio, now this iteration of my syndicated show. Walter's been one of those guests who I've talked to on every one of my platforms, and for that I am grateful, eternally grateful that Walter always says yes when I invite him on. But on the TV show on PBS for all those years, at the end of the show, off camera, I would ask my guest to give me some good advice. And at one point, I did a book of this advice, and that thing sold like hotcakes. I should actually do it again at some point because I didn't publish all the ones that I had. But I asked my guests, all these big-name people, I asked them for the best advice they'd ever received. That was my question. I would tell them at the beginning of the conversation, save it for the end, but when we're off camera, I'm going to ask you to give me the best advice you ever received. And I got so much great advice from all these, amazing people I interviewed and still do, of course, but over all those years on the PBS show. And I was thinking in the break a moment ago, Walter, that I asked that question of Cicely Tyson one night, the late, great Cicely Tyson. And her answer resonates with me, and it taps in nicely to this conversation we're having now about creativity. Cicely said the best advice I ever received, Tavis, was to create something every single day. To create something every single day. Your creation. It could be a meal. It could be a poem. It could be a haiku. It could be taking a picture on your phone. That's your creativity, your creation. But create something every single day. That was the advice that she gave to me. I thought about that when you mentioned that you still write every single day. So I'm in this chair every single day, basically, for 3 hours. I'm talking, but you're writing. There's a discipline to sitting down every single day, like Cicely Tyson creating something, like the Colossus, creating something, practicing every day with his horn. But talk to me about the discipline it takes to do that day in and day out, Walter.
Well, that's really difficult. I mean, that is like the most difficult question because, for me, it is no discipline. I remember once I was somehow somewhere in one of the states in the middle of the country, and somebody asked me that. They said, "Where do you get the discipline to do such a thing?" And I said, well, if you had a good friend, it was a woman. I said, so you have a good, girlfriend, and you say, well, what's your day like? She said, well, the first thing I do is I wake up and I have vigorous sex with my husband every day. And now, when somebody says that to you, the one thing you're not going to ask is, how do you find the discipline to do that? You know what I mean?
It's take like, your point. Yes.
When you're doing something that you love.
Yeah, I get it.
When if you don't do it, it's going to hurt. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it. Now, it could be that, some people, don't have that, they have a lot of talent, but they have to, concentrate on it. But I've never had the problem. Almost everything I do are things that I love.
And when you sit down for those 3 hours, something comes to you every day.
Yeah. What happens is I kind of, Freud came up with, psychoanalysis.
Right.
Now, psychoanalysis was developed for one thing. We don't have those kind of hysterical problems anymore. But the process, when you just lie down and you free associate for an hour, mm-hmm. and then you get up and go about your day. You don't think about it anymore. You don't do anything. But the next day when you lie down, you realize there's all these new ideas in my head. Yeah. One of the things is, if you do your work every day, there will always be something tomorrow. There'll always be something new.
No, I love that. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Walter Mosley, we'll let him sort of a top line for you, Gray Dawn, the latest in the Easy Rawlins Mystery series. You're listening to Walter Mosley. I'm glad about it on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Walter Mosley. I have lost track of how many Easy Rawlins mystery stories I have talked to Walter about on radio and television, but it's been a lot. And the latest is called Gray Dawn, an Easy Rawlins mystery. And in every one of these conversations, I always let him do this part so that I don't give too much away. So, Walter, how would you top line Gray Dawn?
Well, Gray Dawn starts with the title. Easy wakes up and he's sad and he's depressed. He's in this incredible place. He lives on top of this mountain. A woman owns the whole mountain, so it's only 6 houses on the whole mountain, and he's living there. He's protected by these Sicilian security guards. He has a business. He has money. He has everything, and he's just depressed. He can't stand it. He broke up with his girlfriend in the last book, Amethystin, and he was probably wrong for doing that. And he isn't with his people anymore. He isn't helping. That's what Easy always did, was he would be helping people in his community. If somebody had a problem, they didn't have any money, he says, well, can you get your wife to cook for me for a couple of weeks? Or can you do some work for me yourself? And that's what he would do. And that made him a part of a community. And now, living on this mountaintop, he's no longer a part of it. And so what he wants to do is he wants to get back into the life that he once knew, that he loved, that he felt important, that he was doing something good and right. And it's great. But the thing is that you should worry about getting what you want, because getting what he wants puts him into some really kind of tough situations and some really heartbreaking situations, or potentially heartbreaking. And so, by the end of the book, I think he's worked his way out of his depression, but he has other issues going on.
And that's all you get. That's all you get from Walter Mosley. It's called Gray Dawn, an Easy Rawlins mystery. Walter, always enjoyed these conversations, man. Thank you for coming on today. Enjoyed, of course, having Killer Mike on with you at the top of the hour, but enjoyed our alone time in the second half. I'll talk to you soon, my friend. All the best to you, sir. Congrats on the book.
Talk to you later. Thanks a lot.
All right. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Tomorrow is Friday, so tomorrow is the best of Tavis Smiley. Some amazing conversations this week, including this one with Walter Mosley and Killer Mike. So we'll go through the list of shows this week and reprise 3 conversations you may have missed tomorrow on the best of Tavis Smiley. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Florida is stepping up after Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica. Orlando attorney Dan Newlin is flying 3 planes of supplies to Kingston with reggae star Shaggy, who joins in Miami.
If the people are saying, Dan, can you bring more? Can you get more stuff? Then we will fly.